Z and now going into Gen Alpha, they recognize that as it stands right now is not the future they want.
I'm John Starr, advisor at Thorn.
I'm Paylez Halai, senior manager of partnerships at Thorn.
And this is Safe Space. I get the sense that, like many folks in trust and safety, you are an optimistic person at heart.
Definitely.
What gives you hope for the future in our space and beyond it?
What gives me hope is that 18-year-olds are talking about trust and safety. We honestly can't keep up. Like I'm talking to a lot of funders to grow capacity for All Tech is Human solely because so many people reach out and say, how do I get into trust and safety? So we're dealing with this kind of like sonic boom, so to speak, that it became a big topic, and you had a lot of pioneers in the space. And I think that's also one of the struggles, right? Is how do you build a pipeline when it happens pretty quickly? So now you need education to kind of come in and form these kind of like pathways. But what gives me hope to that question is that the interest level couldn't be higher. Right? When you talk about Gen Z and now going into Gen Alpha, they recognize that as it stands right now is not the future they want. I mean, they're actually, being given a scenario where they're saying, wait a minute, this is really important. We have to get this right, because they're too young to recognize a time when everybody thought that social media would lead to flourishing democracy. They're growing up in a time period where it's not being kind of weighed with the positives or the enthusiasm that happened when social media really started taking off. But the optimism really comes from the fact that everybody is reaching out. I can't take enough calls. That's why we've tried to create mentorship programs, and about I think 1,500 people have gone through. That's the future. So I think the future is in good hands if we can stick the landing. So I'm not Pollyannish. However, it's not like I'm talking into a vacuum. We're going to gatherings and everybody, they don't want to leave. I have to kind of kick people out the door and play like Nickelback or something to get them to leave, but that's also really cool because they want to get involved. Like that's something we have to recognize. It does put a smile on my face because that showcases that all of these people who have laid the foundation in trust and safety, they've opened up doors for the next generation. So it's kind of comical because so many times you'll have a college student who will talk to somebody who's really established in trust and safety, and they'll kind of say like, all right, what should I do? Give me this advice. Oftentimes for that trust and safety leader, right? It was such a newfangled area that all of these pathways are being built now, which is really kind of cool to see, because you had so many people who deeply cared about building a better online experience and reducing harm. We've created an entire new field that I think can thrive if we protect it, if we recognize its importance.
This is just part of the conversation with David Polgar. You can catch more highlights and the full Safe Space episode here.